I am really, really fucking good at hiring and training and managing chatters who produce big numbers within a short period of time without any experience in this business at all. My team is coming together. The good people are getting really good, and the people who weren't very good are getting good quickly. And I base a lot of the training that I give to them, despite the fact that I have no experience chatting myself. I've never sold a single thing via chatting. Not $1 have I ever brought in. However, what I do is I apply my almost 15 years of sales experience and all of the knowledge that I've gained over that time to the way that I train them, the way that I motivate them, and the way that I manage them. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the 5 best books that I have read that are the most integral in the way that I train chatters. These are all things you can read or watch, and in this video, I'm going to talk about them. Now, this is not all of them. I could probably come up with a list of 20 if I felt like sitting here for 2 hours and talking about them. These are the 5 that I just happened to think of when I sat down for this video to write these out. Okay. Number 1, I'm going to start with the most, well, I don't know if it's the most important one, but it's a very important one. Okay. So my training program that I have for my new chatters, it is personalized opener, qualifying, and building commonalities. Brief explanation of what that means, and then I will tell you how I put this together, because I didn't fucking think of that on my own. What I did, or what this means, personalized opener, that's obvious. Their username is fucking peanut butter 123. Hey, peanut butter, do you like crunchy or smooth? Whatever, some dumb bullshit. They answer and you qualify them. You ask them questions about themselves. I tell people to focus on profession, location, and age. But bottom line, you get the sub talking about themselves. And whenever they give you information about themselves, you build a commonality with whatever information they provided you. So the guy says, I work in construction. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a new building going up near my house, and fucking the guys are always there at 4:30 in the morning. It always wakes me up, drives me crazy. Can you call them and please tell them not to fucking jackhammer at 4:30 in the morning? Ha ha ha. Right. So what I did there is I connected what he said with myself in some way. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I love construction, or like I did construction once. No, it just has to be a connection in some way. And then you repeat this cycle until these people feel like they know you very well. Now, how did I come up with this? I didn't fucking sit there and think, oh, no. I unashamedly stole this from a dating coach that I follow and is very smart and very skilled, probably one of the best in the world. So I love pickup content. I love dating content. My favorites, or some of my favorites, were the Real Social Dynamics guys, Tyler Durden, Todd, whatever. One of the coaches there that they had before they kind of rebranded was a guy named Luke, RSD Luke. Now he goes by Luke Crow. Crow is Krogh. Look him up on Instagram. He's got, last I checked, he had a program on school for $100 a month. I was in it. I dropped out, but I'm going to sign up for it again. We could do it together. You want to do it together? It'd be dope. Anyway, his whole thing, or part of his whole thing, he teaches what's called social circle game. Social circle game is like, okay, there's 2 theories really, where there's cold approach, which is like you go and approach and say, hey, do your little fucking whatever. Social circle is where it's more like lifestyle design, where you like structure your life in a way where there's just beautiful women around you all the time. Part of what he teaches, the way to do that, because that's not a fucking easy thing to do, part of what he teaches is to befriend certain people that work in the nightlife industry. And the way that he teaches you to befriend them, guess what, is qualifying and building commonalities. And he has a much more in-depth explanation and system for it than I do. I just kind of broke it down to the bare bones and gave it to my chatters to do. But essentially what you do, like what he would say, for example, is like, let's say you want to, build fucking, you want a life with all these hot girls. Well, what you need to do is you need to go to places and meet people who have a lot of hot girls in their lives already, or the people that work at the venues that are like the cool venues, whatever. And let's say you go and you meet, you go to a fucking trendy bar in town that all the fucking hot girls go to. You go there, you sit at the bar, you talk to the bartender. Hey, bro, you look, I did this once, actually. I started doing the program. I said, man, you look exactly like this guy that I knew that I went to high school with. And when I came in here, I thought that was you. And then, you know, I sat here and I realized it's not you, but like, whatever. And the guy's like, oh, where are you from? And I said, California. And he's like, oh my God, I love California. California's the best. I love it because of this. I love it because of that. So like fucking on and on and on. Right. And that's, I guess that's qualifying with a statement where I'm basically like, it would say basically what it is. I asked him where he's from and where he went to high school, kind of, if you understand the transference there. But basically the point is that I started a conversation with him and we connected on something that we had in common. I said I'm from California. He fucking loves California. Talked my ear off for 15 minutes about California. I couldn't get a fucking word in. So that's the point, right? Now I didn't try to sell that guy anything, but you know, a couple more conversations like that. I was there for 15 minutes. A couple more conversations like that, a couple more connection points, and like we could be friends. I could invite him out to do something. And the guy who's a bartender for that location has fucking hot girls all day, every day coming up to him. He knows where the events are. He knows where the cool shit is. He's got a phone number fucking full of hot girls. And it's much easier to build a life for yourself that is cool and you're surrounded by cool people and hot girls when you're fucking friends with the bartender at the fucking trendy bar in the best part of town. So what I did is I just took his system for befriending people or networking and I just applied it to chatting. And the reason I did that is because chatting is it's a long sale, it's a long relationship type thing. And it's unique in that, you know, there's quick sales, right? When I sold hair straighteners, that was quick sales. It's like, boom, you come here, sell you something or don't, and then I'm literally never going to see you again. And then there's longer sales, like let's say selling a house, right? That's more relationships. Like, oh, you got to fucking meet with these people and talk to them. It's a 2-3 month process at best. What's interesting about OFM is that when you sell to subs, it's long like that, but it's frequent. So it's kind of a mix of both of them. And the safest way to do this is by building qualifying these people and building commonalities on what they did. And the fact is that it just works. Okay. Believe me, don't believe me, I don't give a fuck. But like it works. If you want to know more, DM me on Instagram. Like I follow him on Instagram. And you can fucking go check out his program. It's like I said, I think it's $99 a month, or it was last I checked. Book number 2. This book is by Chris Voss. I mentioned this in another video, but this book is called Never Split the Difference. So Chris Voss is an ex-FBI hostage negotiator. And his style, right? Think about it like this. You're a hostage negotiator. And you got the hostages, or you got the fucking kidnappers. They got the money, guns to the head of the people. I want a plane. I want a helicopter. I want $1 million, blah, blah, blah. And as a hostage negotiator for that fucking FBI, you can't give these people anything. You're not going to give them $1 million. You're not going to give them a plane. You have to get the hostages back. You have to get everything you want, and you have to not give them anything that they want, right? So you're in a very sensitive position where like you have to negotiate basically the best deal for yourself and the worst deal for them. How the fuck are you going to do that? Well, this guy, I don't know if he figured it out or he fucking cobbled it together or they taught him, but like he's the guy who's known for this. It's an excellent book, by the way. Get the book, get the audiobook, doesn't matter. But one of the things that he does, this is one of the strategies here, but this is, I guess, the core of the book. And what he said is to stop asking questions that lead to yes as a way to get what you want, and replace them with questions that lead to no to get what you want. So, for example, one of the examples actually that he gives in the book is there was a company that consulted with him who did political fundraising. And what they would say at first is they would ask questions like, do you want a Democrat to win in the next election? Like hoping that they would say yes. Or they would phrase it in a way like, oh, maybe it was Republican. I don't fucking know. Like, don't you just love Democrats? And don't you really want like Democrats to run this country forever? Something like that. And that's going to lead to a yes. But the people who answer that with a yes are going to be hesitant because they know what's coming. People can sense when they're about to be taken advantage of or when the attempt to take advantage of them is in the near future. So what they said to do instead is they would ask questions that led to a no. They would say like, are you 100% completely satisfied with the direction that this country is going in? And then obviously people are going to think of problems like no. and they're not committing to anything. They think they're not committing to anything by saying no. In my copywriting, some of the things that I do to employ this is, because it's very applicable in business, but some of the things that I do is I'll say stuff like, let's say I'm trying to sell a boot camp on traffic, right? I don't always do this. Sometimes I forget, but I'm reminding myself now, I guess. So let's say I'm trying to sell a boot camp on traffic. I would say, like, do you have more traffic than you can handle? Do you have are your models getting hundreds of subs every day? Have you mastered the traffic platform that you're working on right now? Because you got to ask 3, right? Whatever. And people are going to say no. Most people are going to be like, nope, nope, nope. But if I do it the normal way that most people think to do of reflexively, if I'm like, do you wish you had more traffic? Would you love a fountain of unlimited subs coming to you every day? Do you, whatever. People are going to be like, yes, okay. And how much is it? You know what I mean? They're like quick on the come up that you're going to try and sell them something. And you don't necessarily want that, because it's going to raise their guard. You don't really want them in that guarded position. So anyway, I'm not really sure if I'm explaining this well, but it's an excellent book, and he's got a lot of other tips in there for things that you can say, actual like verbal phrases that you could literally copy paste to say in a conversation. Here, I'll give you another one. And then I'm going to tell you to go fucking buy the book, 'cause it's really good. Let's say you're in a negotiation with somebody, and the person is like saying something. They're trying to like draw a line and be like, well, we're not going to give you this. Like, you can say whatever you want, but we're never doing that thing that you want us to do. And his line, because like, what are you going to say? You don't want to argue, because if you argue, then they'll just dig their heels in the sand and fucking good luck. You don't want to fucking convince them or anything like that. What you say instead is you say, such a good phrase, I almost don't want to tell you, is you say, seems like you have a good reason for saying that. Or no, wait, it seems like you have a reason for saying that. You just don't fucking say anything. And they'll be like, well, blah, 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 and this and that. And then when you have the underlying reason behind it, then you can talk about that. You can talk about what the real issue is. You don't want to talk about the first thing that they said, which is them just fucking, doing dick waving. Anyway, it's an excellent book, and I highly recommend that you guys should go check it out. Number 3, it's a book by Grant Cardone called Be Obsessed or Be Average. So, amazing book, incredible book. I actually listened to the audiobook on this. I didn't read the book. But the gist of the book is that if you're going to do something, you need to be obsessed with it. You need to literally think about it all the fucking time. It needs to dominate your thoughts. It needs to consume you. And fuck what people say about it not being healthy, or no, you should have balance, or you should have this, you should have that. If you want to be good, if you want to be world class, if you want to change your life, if you want to crush it, then you got to be obsessed. It's be obsessed or be average. Now, the reason I like this audiobook is because Grant Cardone himself reads it, and he reads it like, not verbatim. He also ad-libs. So like, he'll read a section and then he'll just kind of like continue talking, or he'll add a little anecdote or something like that. And it sounds very natural. He does a very good job just talking, I guess. He's a good talker, and he's very successful. Like, say what you want about Grant Cardone, but like, the dude is good at business, and he's a good salesperson, and he's very charismatic, and he's achieved a lot. So you would be a fool to disregard his teachings because you don't like him personally or something. I'm not saying you do, but it's easy to hate on these gurus who are very enthusiastic and try to sell you shit for obvious reasons. But this book is very good, and I'll tell you why this book is so amazing. When I read this book literally changed my life. I'm not even joking. So, little anecdote, and then I'll go to the next one. Somebody sent me a message today. They're like, bro, your videos are good, but you go off on tangents too much and you ramble. So like, if you're still watching this at this point, can you leave me a comment and let me know if you think I ramble too much and I should stay more on topic? I guess maybe I'll make a poll in my group. Anyway, how did this book change my life? So, when I was 33 maybe? I had just come back from living in Germany. Okay. So I lived in Berlin for a year with my girlfriend at the time. Met her in Australia. We lived in a bunch of places together. Eventually went to Germany, lived with her there for a year. Fucking hated Germany. It was Berlin. Hated Berlin. Shithole, dog shit, awful place. It's another video, but like didn't like it. Eventually ended up coming back to LA, which is where I'm from. It was not like, it was like me stopping the traveling life, which I had been doing for a very long time. So I went back to LA and, long story short, I couldn't get a job. I couldn't find myself. I didn't know what I was doing professionally. I couldn't do my fucking hair straightener job there. So I couldn't make any money. And I started driving for Uber. And that's all I did. I drove for Uber and I fucking hated it. Driving for Uber fucking sucks. And it especially sucks in LA. Cause like, you ever driven in LA? It's not fun. Traffic, rush hour. Like it's not a fun experience. I kind of miss LA sometimes. I'll say that, but like back then it was not fun. You don't want to live in LA and rely on Uber to fucking pay your rent. And I made so little money. My rent was $1,750 and my gym membership was like $270. And I probably made like that to cover those two expenses plus another maybe $200 to buy a bunch of eggs and fucking tomato sauce. And that's all I would eat. And onions, like bread and butter. That's all I would eat. So anyway, the point is that like I lived this life for way too long of me just like, and there were some good things about it, but you know, it was not a great period in my life for my soul. So what I would do, because I drove for Uber, is I would listen to audiobooks. And I had downloaded this one by Grant Cardone. This is before he was really as famous as he is now. I downloaded a couple by Grant Cardone, and I tried to listen to it once, and I was like, oh my God, this guy is just too intense. Like, I literally turned it off after 1 minute. So I was just like, oh my God, let me fucking listen to something more chill. I can't deal with this guy right now. It's too much. So a couple months later, I had run out of audiobooks and I listened to that one again. I was like, okay, well, let me give this guy a shot. I'll just skip the introduction. So I skipped the introduction and I was hooked. And I won't tell you why. I won't ruin the book for you. It's very good. But like, I could relate to this guy in a lot of ways. And when I listened to this book, basically what I decided is that I would go back to Australia, which I had already spent 1 year there, where I met my fucking German ex-girlfriend, and decided to go back and do another year after listening to this book. I listened to this book 10 times and I was like, I'm going to go back to Australia. I'm going to open 20 kiosks and I'm going to make $1 million with this. And that obviously didn't happen, but it got me to the point where it shook me out of my fucking dream state and gave me enough like momentum and gas in the tank to be able to leave LA and fucking get another flight to Australia and negotiate a deal with my old boss to open a kiosk with me. I didn't have any money. I didn't have fucking $6,000 to buy products and pay for the mall. And like, I literally, how did I even get a plane ticket? I don't remember how I got my fucking plane ticket. I think somebody bought me a plane ticket. I think somebody bought me a plane ticket. I don't even remember who, because I didn't have fucking that money to buy a plane ticket. $1,700 fucking trip to Australia. Didn't have it at all. I don't know who bought it for me. Anyway, bottom line is that the book is incredible because it will motivate you to try really hard to achieve whatever it is you want. It just really kind of resets what your attitude should be about how you attack whatever you want to do. The fourth book is another book by Grant Cardone called The 10X Rule. So after I listened to Be Obsessed or Be Average, I listened to the 10X Rule. And the gist of the 10X Rule is that whatever number you come up with for something you need to do or some goal you want to achieve, just 10X it, right? And you hear this phrase a lot now. This phrase is like ubiquitous in personal improvement, talk, where they're like, oh, we're doing this. We're 10X it. We decided to do this. And then boom, we 10X'd it, right? That came from him. So the book is really good because it encourages you to just think bigger, right? And what's really interesting is when you combine these two books, thinking bigger and just becoming obsessed with whatever it is, it makes the thing you want to do easier because you're like, oh, well, I've already committed. I've committed to becoming obsessed with it. I've committed to doing 10 times as much work as I thought I was going to do. I've chosen a goal that's 10 times as big and 10 times as lofty as the one that I originally chose. And the combination of those things is going to make you more motivated and really less afraid of attacking whatever it is you want to attack, with gusto. Why is a 10x rule good for chatters? Because in reality, like let's talk chatter bros now. If you're still with me, you need to work more. You need to work harder. You need to send more messages. You need to put more effort into your chats. You need to set bigger goals. Like your goal is only $500 a day. Well, good for you. Why not 5,000? Set it to 5,000. Right now, if I tell you that, let's say you're doing $500 a day and I tell you set your goal for 5,000, your first reaction is going to be like, well, I don't know how to fucking sell for $5,000 in a day. I could barely do 500. But think to yourself, my goal is 5,000. And then your brain will naturally look for things and start to come up with ways to achieve that goal. Maybe it's use your imagination. I've already thought of some. I don't want to give them away, but like if it's not that hard to think of them, to be honest with you. So this is a very good book for chatters because it will it will motivate you to increase your expectations of yourself and the idea of how much work you will be putting in to achieve what you want to achieve. And then finally, this is actually 3 books by Robert Greene. I was going to list them all individually, but I decided not to. So Robert Greene, I have been following him for a very long time. I found him, I don't even fucking know, maybe 2012. First book I bought was 48 Laws of Power. I bought the actual fucking book, and then I read that book, and then I immediately went out and bought the other 2 books that he had available, which was The Art of Seduction and 33 Strategies of War. These are the only good books that he has ever written. Yes, I know, and I've read all his books. Okay, I've read them all, and they're not good. Okay, he has the book about 50 Cent, which is just stupid. It's just dumb. Skip it. And then as far as I know, he has 2 more books after that. I actually haven't checked in a couple of years. He might have another one. He has 2 more books. One of them is very depressing, and he just talks about death and dying all the time. It's awful. And it's very pessimistic. And it's more like what to watch out for. Like how to... He'll tell stories and give rules about things to watch out for so you don't get fucked over. It's very dark. It's not like a pleasant read. And I literally don't remember anything from it. The other 3 books, however, which are the 3 first books that he wrote, amazing. You should read them. You should have them in your house. You should put them in the fucking bathroom and read them every time you take a shit. Your life will be better than fucking playing on your phone or whatever the fuck you do. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each of these books and why they will be good for you. Now, what's interesting about these 3 books is that when you read them, you'll see that what he did. Okay, well, yeah. Well, so what he did is he analyzed personal interactions, but each book just increases the scale of the interaction. The Art of Seduction is like one-on-one. It's like this guy wants to fuck this girl, or this girl wants to seduce this man, whatever. Somebody's trying to seduce somebody else, and they did this to like get what they wanted. 48 Laws of Power is more like not just one-on-one, but it's like one person, and here's a society, and here's like this person, and here's that person, and it's just more dynamic. There's more moving parts. 33 Strategies of War is even bigger. And it's like, okay, there's this country and there's this nation, and then there's these fucking other people and all these individual people within the nation. So like you do some manipulation here and you fucking move some chess pieces there and fucking, you get what you want. So it just increases in scale. And when you read all 3 of them, it gives you a lot of tools to be able to get what you want in a situation. Now, what's really interesting about Robert Greene's books is the way that he writes the books. And he's brilliant. I love books that are written this way. Sperm Wars is another book that's written the same way, although it's very dry. It's not a fun read. Robert Greene's books are fun reads. So the way that he writes is like this. His books are done in he'll have like a rule or a law, and he will first tell a story. It's prose, right? Prose means it's like a novel, right? It's like an actual story. We'll say, one day Bob woke up and he fucking went here and he went there and he did this and then this person, right? It's like that. And then what he'll do, he'll tell the story, and the story will have the lesson in it. And then the next part of that chapter is an analysis of the rule. It's like the name of the rule and the analysis of the rule and the breakdown of the rule. And he'll refer to the story that he just told and explain how the rule applies in every situation and how you should use it and how whatever. So it's an excellent way to teach. He teaches through story, tells the story first, then he breaks down the rule and how it applied in that story and what you should do in the future. It's amazing. And the books, like I said, because they're so, they vary in scale and they increase in scale, you can learn a lot about maneuvering in social situations in a lot of different ways through all of these books. Obviously, every communication is going to come down to one-on-one. So Art of Seduction is very valuable. 48 Laws of Power, that's like the famous one. It's a great title, not going to lie. It is an excellent title. But that's more, let's call it like political maneuvering, but political within a community or within a country. And then 33 Strategies of War is more broad scale, where it's like country to country, let's say. So there's a lot more going on. There's a lot more pieces on the chessboard for you to fucking have to work with. So when you have all three of them, it gives you a lot of information and a lot of strategies on how you can like navigate any social situation, regardless of how many players there are, or what they happen to be doing at any given time. They are amazing books. Amazing books. I've read all of them. I don't even know how many times I've read all of them. Like actually read the books. Super valuable. I don't have them anymore. I kind of want to go buy them. Anyway, those are actually 7 books. My 7 best sales books for OnlyFans chatters. Let me know what you think about that. Drop me a comment, like the video, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.